morning, everyone. How are you?
Great.
Everyone good today?
Yeah.
Awesome. My name is Wesley Goo, like Bob said. I am with the Anthony Robbins Companies. Before I begin, how many of you know who Tony Robbins is? Oh, most everybody. Okay, where do you know him from?
Books, TV.
Books, TV. Anyone else?
Infomercials.
Say again?
Infomercials.
Infomercials. How many seen the infomercial? Someone usually says Shallow Hal. Anybody see Shallow Hal, the movie? Banana Hands, right? What does Tony do? What's his thing?
He's a motivational speaker.
Motivational speaker. That's the number one thing we get. Motivational speaker.
Why guy?
Oh yeah, a why guy. Motivational speaker is the number one term we get. We actually hate that term. And you know why? Because motivation doesn't last. How many had a moment where you got inspired, you got really excited about something, and what happens a week later?
Forget about it.
It goes away, right? Why does that happen? Why do you think it happens?
Because it doesn't sustain itself.
Doesn't sustain it, right? How many have joined the gym on January 1st, and by January 31st, what? Gyms are empty. What about how many of you started reading a book? You bought a book, you were really excited, and how many of you did not finish that book? Because motivation by itself doesn't last. What is it really about? What makes it last? So before we begin, let me present to you a question, and I want you to think about this. What is the difference between people who succeed in their life, people who get the things they want, people who make the money they want, have the body they want, have the passionate relationships they want, and people who struggle? Everything's a challenge. I can't seem to get things off the ground. I make excuses. I blame. What do you think is the difference between those two? Yes?
Believability, believing in themselves.
Believing in themselves. What else?
How they communicate to themselves.
How they communicate.
Consistent effort.
Consistent effort.
Their energy.
Energy. Good. Anyone else?
Taking action. Taking action.
Taking action. All those answers are correct. But there is one overriding answer that stops people and helps people grow. And I want to share that with you. So that's the reason I'm here today. There's actually two reasons. Number one, I want to share with you that answer so that you never have to struggle again. Most of us struggle in life because we don't know which way to go. How many have experienced a lack of clarity before, right? You're just like, where do I go next? And so what I want to do today is share with you the answer so that you know the people that struggle or the people that succeed from the people that struggle, and that you don't have to do that anymore. You'll know exactly what to do and how to get yourself out of that. And number two reason I'm here is if you see something you want to model in what I say today, or you hear something that makes sense or just feels right to you, I want to give you an opportunity to do something about it today. To take your life to make a change. But don't even worry about that. I'll tell you all about that at the end. Is that okay with you if I do that? Okay, perfect. So in order for me, one more thing. I'm not really good at tiptoeing around things and trying to be all, proper. I just like to speak from my heart. Is it okay if I just speak from my heart, be honest with you? If I never see you again, just give it to you from my heart and not sugarcoat anything. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Awesome. And then the last thing is, I don't like to just be up here to lecture. I want to be able to interact with you. So research shows that if you write some things down, you take some notes, if you shoot your hand up and you answer back, you maintain something like 80%. If you just sit there like this with your arms crossed and you don't do anything, research shows that you maintain less than 10% of what you learn. So the key word there is participation. What's the key word?
Participation.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so before we begin, I want to ask you a question. I want you to grab your pen and your paper because I want to know what we're working with here. I want you to write down 2 to 4 things you've wanted in your life but have struggled to get. What are some things? Maybe make a couple of them personal and a couple of them professional. So maybe a couple personal things you want that you've struggled to get, and then a couple of professional business things maybe you've wanted that you've struggled to achieve. Go ahead and just take a minute and write those down. If it's not too personal, I'd love for you to share one with me if you could.
Travel more.
Travel more. Okay, and what do you think stops you right now from traveling as much as you want? Money. What about money? You don't have enough money. Not enough money. How many can relate to this? You have things you want in your life or maybe on your list and you don't have the money to get it. How many can relate to that? Everyone, so you're not alone. Perfect. Someone else, thank you. Someone else. Don't be shy.
Strong self-esteem.
Strong self-esteem. That's a good one. What do you think stops you from having the level of self-esteem that you want?
My mind.
Your mind. What about your mind? Conversations? What kind of conversations?
The negative conversations.
Negative conversations. Okay, how many can relate to her that you have things you want, or you think things through the day, and then sometimes maybe you have negative conversations, your mind beats you up, says negative things. How many have experienced that before? Only 4 of you? How many of you experienced that before? Okay, everyone.
Everyone raise their hand.
Yeah, exactly. What else? Thank you for that honesty. Yes?
More time, more freedom, like away from work, more time.
Okay, you want more time. And what prevents you from having more time?
Income. Having the income to support you doing what you want to do, just having more time.
Okay,
Not enough money.
not enough money. If you had more money, you would have more time?
Correct.
Perfect. How many can relate to that? You want more time out there, right? Someone else? Yeah.
Oh, better relationships.
Better relationships. Okay. And what stops you from having the kind of relationships you dream about? Better relationships.
For me, it's not having the correct tools to be in a good relationship. I don't know. to make
Not
a
the correct
relationship.
tools?
Correct tools to, you know.
Is there anything deeper than that you're leaning? Because I sense you're wanting to say something else maybe, or no? Is that it?
Yeah.
If you have the correct tools, if I gave you some tools right now, you'd be good. You'd have the relationships you always wanted.
I think so, yeah.
Okay? Correct tools. Perfect. Yeah?
I think better health.
Better health. How many experience levels of fear in whatever area of your life that you feel prevent you? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Someone else?
Published author.
Author, published author. What do you think stops you from being a published author right now? Procrastination comes in. Okay, anyone else? Just shout out some reasons, just for lack of time, shout out some reasons that stop you from getting the things you want. Just shout them out.
Avoidance, fear.
Avoidance. What else?
Willpower.
Willpower, lack of willpower.
Responsibility. Diligence.
I heard someone say, did I hear someone say lazy? Someone, I thought I heard that somewhere. Lazy, what was the other one?
Diligence.
Diligence, like you have too much diligence?
Lack of diligence.
Oh, lack of diligence, okay.
Accountability, lack
Lack of accountability. Diligence. Okay, we'll stop there. We could go on all day with this list. So what do you think separates people who get the things they want at the rate they want to get those things and the people who constantly struggle? That was our question in the beginning, right? What do you think separates the two? What stops people from getting this? Themselves? Yes?
their belief systems.
Their belief systems. I want you to write this word down, because here's your answer. Patterns. Patterns. Now what do I mean by a pattern? Let's start here. I'm just going to fill all this in, and then you can write this down. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you are getting up at the crack of dawn, morning to night, you're hitting it hard like Nike says, just do it every minute of the day. On a scale of 1 to 10, is your actions a 9 or a 10 if you're getting these results? No. Okay, what are they? So are they good actions or not bad actions? Right. We're struggling over here. But how many know Nike says, I just said it a second ago, Nike says what? What's
Just
the famous
do
saying?
it.
Just do it. And how many of you know if you got up every morning passionate to just do it in every area of your life, would your life look different than it does now?
Yes.
But we don't do that because in the morning we get up and Nike doesn't take into account, we just don't feel like just doing it. We struggle, right? How many of you have moments where you're just like, I don't feel like having to hit it hard.
Many.
I just want to cruise. So our feelings are directly connected to the actions. But then what triggers our feelings?
Our belief system.
If I said, I'm writing you a check for $10 million, in fact, I have cash for you, it's in a bag sitting right over there, you can have it, and you believe me, will your feelings change?
Absolutely.
Exactly. But if I said, guess what? Your car just got towed. Would your feelings also change the other way?
Yes.
What you believe is happening at any given moment is informing how you feel. Most people, and this is the problem with a lot of relationships, and I won't branch into this, is that people go on feelings not realizing that feelings in a relationship come from somewhere. They come from what you believe about the other person, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about the relationship, life, the universe, God, people, my own abilities. Let's say a woman comes to you and says, you know what? Men are pigs. Every man I date is a pig. What kind of actions do you think she takes in dating? Do you think she's more likely to date or less likely to date?
Less likely.
Less likely to date. Do you think that she feels more like dating or feels better about herself or feels worse?
Worse.
Do you think she believes that the world is a good place filled with good people? No. So you see this spiral happening here. Something happens in your life. You might not even have thought about it. You get a negative reaction, you have a bad dating experience, you eat food, you gain weight, you lose money. And that's what happened. If you track it back, that's what happened. Why did those things happen? Maybe you were down, you ate more, you were feeling optimistic about a relationship, didn't work, and then you track it back, beliefs. Now we're going to track it this way. If you do that, if you think men are pigs, this woman, she's going to feel more or less like going on dates?
Less.
Less. Which means she's actually going to go on a date or not go on a date?
No.
Not go on a date. What is her result?
Loneliness.
Single. Yeah, exactly. And then what is her identity? I'm undateable. Right? Which then does what to her belief system again? Reinforces. So she meets a guy, and I told you men were pigs. She has a bad experience, he stands her up, something happens. I told you men were pigs. Which then goes into the same thing.
So we need to break.
Your actions that you do, the things you believe, trigger feelings, which then trigger what your actions are on a daily basis, which give you the results you're currently getting, which reinforces an identity that you carry around that you might not even know. If I could wave a wand and you were Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, anybody successful, Donald Trump, Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, would your life look different?
Yes.
But right now, do you feel that you are of that caliber?
No.
Is there a difference between people who succeed and people who are trying to succeed? The challenge is to get stuck in trying to succeed. I'm a person who tries to do the right thing. I'm trying to this. Because then, if I say to you, can I promise? If I say, Curtis, let me use you for a second here. Curtis, try to pick up that phone. Did he fail or did he succeed at that?
Succeeded.
No, he failed because I didn't tell him to pick up the phone. phone.
Oh.
You told
What
him
did I
to
tell
try.
him?
You told him to try.
I told him to try. So Curtis, try to pick up that phone. Ladies and gentlemen, Academy Award goes to Curtis. Is trying to do something the same as doing it?
No.
No, it's not. So if I say I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to build a business, that's fine, but don't confuse it with building a business or losing weight. Trying can help you get stuck right here as somebody who's trying to do good, somebody who's trying to make it. But guess what? It's so tough. It's tough out there, which is why we get stuck. What do we call that? A pattern. You have hundreds of patterns going around in your body right now, with relationships, with money, with health, with spirituality, with contribution. You are the result of your patterns. And in a battle between your willpower and your patterns, guess which one wins?
Pattern.
Patterns win. Almost every time. That's why it's so hard to make a change sometimes. Because this stuff has been in your system for, how long have these things been an issue for you? Short time, long time?
Both.
Right? How long have you said, I don't have enough money? Or how long has your mind had negative conversations? Or you felt you didn't have enough time? Or you felt lazy, or you procrastinated? Are these new things?
No.
They've been around for a while, haven't they?
Yes.
And what do they do to you?
You start to believe them.
Become you.
They become you. You start to believe them, you start to feel less like going out and doing things, you take less action, you get less results, you get an identity, and then it reinforces the whole thing. See, I told you it's tough. We're stuck in patterns. Now, how do you get out? How do you get rid of a pattern?
Change your thought process.
Change your thought. Is it that easy? Can we just change it? Can we just do it today?
Yeah.
Create new patterns. Do it different. Maybe.
Interrupt the pattern. Interrupt the pattern. When do most people go for marital counseling?
When it's desperate.
When it's bad, right? When they're on the verge of divorce. When you've all heard about the person that goes to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, unless you lose weight, you get in shape, you quit smoking, you quit drinking, you quit partying, what's going to happen to you? You're going to die. And unfortunately, what has to happen to get that person to actually make a change?
Create the pain. Stack the pain.
Exactly. How did you know? You must have been to one of my other events before. You have to stack the pain, right? You have to. It has to get bad. How do you get from there to there? You have to have a moment where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you do something about it. Now let me ask you this. I want you to take a look over here real quick. Can you see it? Can you all see this? Okay. How long have these things been an issue for you? And what have they done in your mind, in your heart, in your body so far? Have you lost out opportunities because of it? And have you made excuses as to why you're stuck there? And how does that feel for you? What about today? Let's say the meeting's over, you go back, you leave the office, you go back to your family, you go home, you look your children in the eye. By the way, do we pass on who we are to our children?
Absolutely.
Whether we like it or not.
Right.
And what is the effect of taking this home to our kids, looking them in the eye? Do we pass on this to them? And then they grow up the same way. And then we have to go home, we have to talk to our significant others. And what's the danger of carrying this into the future? Let's say you grab all that in a backpack, and next year you're staying here. What is that? What are the consequences of that? What's the danger of carrying all this again into another year? And then into 2 more years? How many know at this point in life passes by really quickly? And how long are you going to live there? 5 years, 10 years from now, when you see yourself in the mirror, what are you saying to yourself? could have done it. I should have stepped up for my significant other when I had a chance, for my kids. I talked a lot about doing it. It just didn't happen for me. Can I just give it to you from my heart? And if I never see any of you again, this still remains. So how do you get out of it? How do you go from here to there? You have to destroy the pattern. You have to destroy the pattern. Willpower will not do it. That's exactly why Tony Robbins created Unleash the Power Within. When presidents are in trouble, when athletes are in trouble, celebrities, families, CEOs, the best of the best, down to the average Joe like you and I maybe, have gone to him for years, decades, because he's the number one. This is his whole thing. He said if it wasn't motivation at the beginning, what is it? Destroying your patterns and creating a whole new set of patterns. That's why he created Unleash the Power Within. So let me tell you just what happened to me, and then I'll finish up. Several years back, I was doing what you would do. I was in an average sales job, and I wasn't making much money. And I found myself in $20,000 credit card debt. How many have ever had credit card debt before? And I thought, I need a better job, right? I need to get in the job making commission, making more money, and when I get more money, then that'll be good. So I know the perfect job. I'll get into real estate. Real estate, you make a ton of money, right? You have commissions are huge. That should be easy. I'll do that. I got my real estate license. I'm very proud of myself. A year later, after being in real estate, guess what? I was $40,000 in credit card debt. And I thought, oh gosh, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I was thinking about filing for bankruptcy. I didn't know what to do. I was looking into it. And right then, a trainer from the Tony Robbins company came into my office and did a training similar to the one I'm doing for you. And he asked the same question. He said, if you could do anything you wanted with your life and nothing stopped you, what would you do? Now I see that on mugs all the time now, but I hadn't seen it before back then, years ago. He said, if you could do anything you wanted with your life, what would you do? And at that time, my life was just miserable. I was struggling. I was right here. I was in debt. I was $40,000 in debt. And I didn't know what to do. And at that time in my life, how many of you have gone through periods of your life where you're struggling and you find consolation in certain small things? Maybe it's in food, maybe it's in alcohol, maybe it's in smoking, maybe it's in TV, maybe it's in whatever it is. For me, it was TV. I was all about my shows. How many of you ever had a show that you really liked? At that time of my life, only one show spoke to me. I don't know why, but this one show I used to race home and tape the show. Tape, I just dated myself. And it was the TV show MTV Cribs. No, I'm just kidding, just a joke, that's a joke. It was the TV show ER. Anyone ever see the show ER? Anyone remember that show? That show, when George Clooney was on there and all those guys on there, that was my show. I used to love that show. In fact, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I actually tried to get a job on the show one time. I was so moved by it, I thought, maybe they'll hire me to do something. So I wrote this cover letter that said, I'm really not qualified to do anything, but if I could just get on the show, like kind of take out the trash, do whatever, I'll do it if I could just get a job. And they said, I snuck on to the lot at Warner Brothers in Burbank. I don't recommend that now, by the way. But I snuck on, I walked in behind a bunch of guys in suits, and I'm like, I gotta find my way to the production office. So I went to the production office, I turned in my resume. Wow. I mean, wow, because that's how pathetic it was. And I turned in my resume, I left nervously, I got a letter a week later, and guess what? No, and how did you get on the lot? So it did what to my self-esteem? Up or down? Yeah. You can't even take out the trash. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know what to do. So right then when he said to me, what would you do if you could do anything and nothing stopped you? I said, I would make money, right? Because when you don't have money, what's the one thing you want?
Money.
Money. I would get out of debt, money. I would lose weight. I'd get in shape. I'd travel the world. I would find love. I would do all these things. And he said, what's something you've wanted that you've not told anybody that you're embarrassed maybe to say that you want? And I thought, wow, and that was the first thing that popped in my mind. I said, I'd like to take out the trash on ER. You know, what? And then I had to give him the backstory to it to explain that why it was so important to me. And so he told me about Tony Robbins' event that was coming to town. Actually, it was going to be in New York, and I was in LA. And I'm like, I can't afford that. I mean, by the time I get the plane tickets and all this, it's like $800 to go to this event and plane tickets, and I'm $40,000 in debt. Sounds good. Maybe next time. Maybe next time now. And he said to me, the old phrase, I'm sure you've all heard it, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. You always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. And at that moment, I went back to my desk and I was literally welling up because I thought I was so sick of my life and where it was. And I hated the word potential more than anything. Oh, Wesley, you have such potential. Because all that meant to me was I wasn't doing anything. Nobody tells someone who's really succeeding in life, wow, you've got such great potential. They only tell people who aren't doing anything. So I hated hearing that from people. So what do you think I did?
Found a way to get another $2,000 a day.
I'll tell you what I did in a second. First, I want to ask you the same question. If you could do anything you wanted with your life and nothing stopped you, what would you do? Something has to happen, because we can talk about all the great things we want, but none of that is ever going to happen if you can't get yourself out of here. Where do you live? Here or here? Now, don't even answer that out loud. It's a rhetorical question. Because if you're honest, what you'll say is, I live here. Because who gave me this list?
We did.
You did. I didn't make it up. You gave it to me. We want to live here, but we know we don't live there yet. So what a lot of people end up saying is, I live
In the middle.
in the middle. And that's the lie we tell ourselves, which take us, remember we talked about 212? Turns us down. When we're at 211, getting ready to make a change in our life, pressure is coming, it's getting you to change, and you hit the breaker switch emotionally. I live in the middle. Oh, okay, turn down the heat, move back it down to 208. Because we have to sleep at night. So we make it better. We romanticize this. Hey, we don't struggle. We all live here. I'm working on it. And I'm working on it really is about procrastination and sheep's clothing for most people. Because how long have we been working on it? Years. I'm here to tell you this. If you want to go from here to here, you have to destroy the pattern that's stopping you. Let me just tell you the end of my story and I'm done. So what do you think I ended up doing? You think I ended up going or not going? To the event. The event. The Tony Robbins event. I ended up going. I went. I somehow thought, like Ron joked around, like I thought, I'm $40,000 in debt, I've got a little bit more room on my credit card, probably not the smartest idea, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I flew out there. And I was nervous. I thought, this could be a big waste of time. What am I doing here? I don't need motivation. I need money. And I thought, what am I going to do? I won't even tell you what happened at the event because to this day it's hard for me to describe. I will tell you what happened a year later. A year after the event, I had gotten myself completely out of debt. I had gone from bottom of my office to number one. I had managed to accumulate a decent sized savings, not great, not breaking the bank, but from being $40,000 in debt the year before to paying the debt off and having a savings account, huge. I lost 30 pounds. I ended up traveling the world. And the funniest thing that happened, I'll tell you this, I had a friend come up to me. At that point, I was starting to talk to people about the work I was doing. And people were like, oh my gosh, there's all this changes. What's, you're so into supporting people. And they said, I need you to do me a huge favor. How many of you have a friend like that who says, well, you need to do me a huge favor? Sure, anything, I'm supporting you, whatever you want. They said, I need you to take an acting class with me because I'm afraid. I'm like, oh, no, that's not for me. That's, other people, you do that. Oh, you always say, just do it, come on, Don't you hate it when people throw your words back in your face? It's the worst.
Oh.
I said, okay, I'll tell you what, this is the compromise. I'll take the class with you for like a month, maybe 2. Then I'm out and you're in. They said, okay, deal. I signed up, took the class. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I had fun. My friend dropped out after a month. Left me in the class, and a year later, guess who I get a call from? The TV show ER.
Oh.
Asking me to come in. I went, no way. I went in, I ended up getting the job. I played a paramedic on the show for like 3 or 4 episodes a year later. Talk about crazy. Do I tell you that because I'm so talented and good looking? Well, yeah. Of course not. I tell you that for this reason. If you would have told me that would have happened 1 year prior, when he came into my office, what would I have said to you?
Never.
No way. It's absolutely crazy. I can't even take out the trash. How did it happen? It happened because I finally got it. I got what it is to destroy the pattern and write new ones for myself so that they became habits. That's what Anthony Robbins is great at. That's the work he's done for decades, why there's so many success stories, is because that's what we're doing. It's all about changing your pattern. If you are tired of being here and tired of talking about changing, you need to do something about it. Are you ready? Do me a favor, write this date down. December 1st. Tony Robbins is coming to Long Beach, California. He's doing an event. It's a 3-day weekend called Unleash the Power Within. This is the whole thing. Now, is that a lot of money?
Yes and no.
Yes and no? If I said to you, I will guarantee you pay that, you go to the event, and I promise in writing, you can have your lawyer sign it, that if you don't get the results you want in 1 year's time, I will pay you $100,000. But you've got to spend the $2,000 up front and go. But you'll get $100,000 a year later if you don't get those results. Who would want to go?
Of course.
Why?
Because you have a guarantee.
I have a guarantee, right? What if I said, okay, of course, there's no way I can guarantee. There's no way I can guarantee that. Because I don't know what you're going to do. But I'll do this. I will pay all of your way to go. I'll put you up in a hotel at the convention center. I'll pay your registration. And I'll pick you up in a limo from your house and I'll feed you all weekend. Just come. Who would come? Great, most everybody. Why would you come?
No money out of my pocket.
No money out of your pocket, right? So what you just told me, guess what the 2 most objections I face about coming to this event are? Too expensive and time. And I don't have the time. But you just told me if I paid for you, you would go. So suddenly, it's not about time.
No risk.
Likewise, if I said I could guarantee the results and I pay you $100,000, you'd spend the $2,000. Which tells me what? It's not about money. What's it about? Will this work for me? What's the only way to know? To go.
To try it. To go. Do it.
I was just full. The event is not $2,000. I just wanted to scare you a little bit. The event is $795. That's it. 4 days with the premier #1 coach in the world. If you, and what should you do? Should you go or not go? I'm not even going to tell you what to do, because I'm not that guy. What I'm going to tell you is this. Ask yourself, is what we talked about today, does that apply to me and where I'm at? If it applies to you, if it doesn't apply to you, God bless you. I'll see you again someday. Go keep doing what you're doing, getting the results you got, great. But if you say in your heart, this applies to me, but maybe I'm afraid, or maybe I'm not certain, but this definitely applies to me, I need to do something about it, then you have to go. Because if you just talk about it for the rest of your life, one day, I hope so, next time maybe, you're running out of chances. We're all running out of chances. We don't have that much time left, as much as we think. Life isn't forever. We have a certain short time to make an impact on this world, to live the life we want, to help others. And when are we going to do that? And how are we going to do that from here? We're not. We have to lead by example. So you have to decide if the time is for you to lead by example. So do me a favor, grab the enrollment form in front of you that's been handed out. Wait. Write this down at the top. Long Beach, California. Write your information down there, your address, your phone number, and cross out the 2,000. $795 is what we're going to offer today for you. Why is that? Why are we just doing that for today?
Act now.
Why act now?
That LD.
Lodi?
Yes.
Smart. We have some smart people in the room. Lodi says law of diminishing intent. Write that down. LODI. Law of diminishing intent. What that means is your best intentions will always decrease over time. As much as you want something, as much as you desire something, that intention decreases over time. Which is why people procrastinate so often. We join the gym January 1st, we're done by January 15th. We start a book, we don't finish it. We get in a relationship, and because our best intentions decrease unless we do something about it. The reason we do that is because Tony recognizes, I recognize that at any moment you're building one of two muscles. You're either building a procrastination muscle or you're building an action muscle. And you have to decide which one you're going to do. $795, that's it for the event. This is not for the non-hungry. If you're content, living the life you're living, getting the results you want, God bless you, keep doing it. If it makes you happy, if that's your thing. But if you're hungry for the change, you have to do it. Now the hours are, it's an all-day thing. It's like a 9 in the morning to like 10 at night. It's 3 days with the #1 coach in the world.